one issue is that they're serving their corporate donors and never delivering for the voters. And they
I don't understand how the left think. They think like they always think like it's an honorable thing to act like oh, I have to protect my people no matter. It's not throwing people under the bus. It's like kind of like being tactical and logical about a strategy to win an election. It is important. It's you're not throwing people under the bus. You're playing the game like effectively. But they're gonna look at it like you throwing them under the bus. This is not throwing under the bus. You're saying that like yo, this issue of trends, what is it? The issue of trends, what is it? What the fuck? I forgot what I'm saying. Let me see. Hold on a second. 1 second, guys. 1 second. I had to bring the issue of trans surgery. Taxpayers paying for trans surgery. A lot of people are against it. So, like, like, you cannot tell me that it doesn't matter at all to the election. The left is always trying to play that it's all about economy. I personally think like Jack, when you look at those people, you should focus on the economy. But it is the economy kind of because now you're talking about the taxpayer money. It is the economy. So it did work because they look at it like you caring about the because I'm from Haiti. I'm not for the immigration. Like I don't think it's good if every Haitian come to the United States. Like if you allow open border, even though I'm Haitian. But you see, but what I see is like I see a white man telling me that it's okay, and he's a lefty. He said that he loves me more than black people. I mean to me that's what it seems like, you know. But like I don't believe it 100%. I don't understand what's going on with the white community, the liberals. They take like everything thrown under the bus. It's not thrown under the bus. You're not even doing well as a country, so you cannot even afford to do crazy things. You're not a god. You're not superior than everybody. You're not God. You have to stop believing that you're a god. That's the way I look at the left. They think like they are God and that they can take over the whole world and they can help everybody. You cannot take everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've learned.
want to distract you from that. So every time they lose, and no leftist lost, every time they lose, they blame the left. So we all agree on that. So let's get to the part we disagree on. So in my opinion, the GOP does this every single time. I've literally covered it for for a quarter of a century. I feel bad saying that, but I have for straight. And what they do is they go further and further and further until they find the most extreme positions that the left is willing to defend. And then they go, aha, that's what the whole left is. And every time they do that, they'll find some leftists who'll go, I'll fall right into that trap. And I feel like screaming, Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. It's a trap. So one of the things that Jordan just read you is so indicative. What have I been telling you guys? We fight for trans rights. They have complete equality. They get, whether it's health care, employment, constitutional rights, you name it. And the American people are on our side and the Democratic Party's on our side, and Jordan just showed that to you. 80% of Democrats agree with that, 52% of all Americans agree with that, even despite all of this overwhelming propaganda against the trans community. But the minute you get the trans people playing in, trans women playing in women's sports, it falls off a cliff, and all of a sudden you're down to 26%, let alone undocumented trans immigrants getting taxpayer-funded surgery. My guess is that polls around 2%. So, and it's not an accident that the Trump team, once they started running that ad, saw great polling out of that ad and ran it again and again and again. And by then it was their #1 ad, and they'd run it for $40 million worth. So, are you guys saying that ad didn't hurt and that we should keep going in that direction?
I don't know. It's going to be hard to quantify what effect it had, but based on not just that one Gallup poll, but exit polls, other public opinion polls of what people's priorities were, we saw for months in the run-up and in the immediate aftermath, voters were largely motivated by the economy, economic policy, and their material conditions. So I think it might have changed the perception, but I don't think it was what motivated people to either stay home or vote against Harris or vote for Trump. You look at where it ranked on that list. I mean, there was 22 different topics on there, and it was dead last. So
why did they run it the most, Jordan? Why did it work the best?
I don't even think that it worked the best, because I was just in Arizona and Nevada multiple times over the past couple months, and I saw the ad of her on The View saying there was nothing different that she would do than what Biden did. I saw that way more than the trans ad. And then within that, they just conflated the Biden administration, the 4 years of Biden, with Kamala Harris, and they said we can't afford 4 more years of Kamala Harris.
But that was not their number one ad. Their number one ad was the trans ad, and because it was just polling through the roof.
It's also a messaging thing.
It was polling to the roof, but according to the lefty, like when you look at all the issues, nobody really cared like about the trans issue like that much. On the level, on the economy, of course, going to be above the trans issue. But this is where this guy doesn't understand fully is that the trans issue is kind of embedded with the economy because now you're using taxpayer money to fund the trans issue. So now they're gonna look at it like, oh, why are you funding trans issue? It's my money. So that's gonna get some people. You can understand that. That's what I don't understand about the left. They always act like they don't understand anything.
And here's the thing, the Harris campaign did not have their hands tied. They had 3 times the money. They had $1 billion. They had an ad budget of $700 million. They spent $40 million on that ad.
That's true.
Get out and spend 80. Spend 120 on
defending your most unpopular position.
No, you need a simple message on that, and you shouldn't throw trans people under the bus. You don't you don't just abandon something because it's inconvenient.
But that's not throwing trans people under the bus.
Yes, it is.
Wait, an undocumented immigrant comes into the country and says, I demand knee surgery.
That's not her policy.
But brother, you just got here. What are you demanding surgery from me for?
That is such an outlier. It's not even her policy. It wasn't in her.
Okay, so this is the way they look at it, the left, right? This is where the debate is so intricate and so amazing. And guys, I'm building this podcast, Witness Without Identity. It's so that we can have careful conversation about those intricate issues without having too much emotion. As you can see here, those amazing individuals are having a conversation. It's starting to get emotional, and I'm trying to like have you guys understand that we don't need to have those emotional conversation. We need to think about this carefully, and not be let's not be too ingrained in our identity. I'm a lefty, so I have to act like that. I'm a moderate lefty. I have to act like this. Just listen carefully, and we can agree to disagree, and we still love each other at the end of the day. You don't have to say that I'm a right winger. You don't have to put your knife on me. You can shake my hand, hug me after that, and I think like Jake should have that kind of a camaraderie with his friend of the left, and even the Republicans should not look at them as an enemy, because the left, when I look at them, they're like a gang. They don't believe in any other ideology. They do not accept anything else. And I think that's the problem I'm seeing. I'm seeing that a lot, yeah.
Her platform. It was
Except it was her policy in
4 years
2020.
ago, she mentioned it at an event. It wasn't a part of her platform.
All right, so let's go to Jules.
Well, Jake, I think what you're doing, and I love you, but I think you're falling for a massive trap that Republicans never fall for, which is, like you said, they set up this domino of like this tiny issue that rounds down to zero and say this is the biggest issue of the election. And like Democrats, not like leftists, but Democrats will jump in and say like, well, actually, here's the stats about this. So actually, like, we don't agree with let's say like, trans women in sports. But that's not what, like, when Republicans do heinous stuff, the Republicans just say, yeah, who cares? We're not even going to talk about it. Democrats insist on having the conversation about stuff that essentially doesn't happen or happens in such a small way as to be useless or ineffective to the larger story. And Democrats will jump onto it in an effort to demonize leftists and secure their own position. And that's really frustrating. Like, it's crazy to me that trans women in sports is a massive issue when, again, the percentage of people that this affects literally rounds down to zero, where stuff that actually matters and stuff that Republicans are doing is hand waved away with nothing, and it doesn't become part of the conversation. Nobody says, hey, we should talk about that.
You guys are not addressing what I'm saying. So when I go on right-wing shows, I tell them, look, going to drive a wedge between us. And in fact, Dan Holloway, bless his heart, on Drinking Bros, a right-winger, was like, you're right. That's why they call it a wedge issue, because it's supposed to drive a wedge between us. That's the right way to handle it. And so I think we all agree on that. But then you guys are saying, no, dig in when they find the most unpopular position and defend it until you lose. Why? Why would you defend a position that is deeply, deeply unpopular?
No one's saying dig in, but don't abandon members of your community. It's the right thing to do to stand up.
But who's
for them.
abandoning them?
Harris did.
How?
The last couple weeks of the campaign, she distanced herself from trans issues, from trans rights, because.
But which trans rights, Jordan? Which trans rights? They do not have the right to demand free surgery when they come here as undocumented immigrants.
Who is doing that?
That was literally Kamala Harris's position in 2020.
It was a hypothetical. It was a hypothetical.
But no, that.
But who is doing it? Is it happening at scale?
That's not even hypothetical.
How much money are we actually spending
Jordan,
on that?
it was actually policy under Trump, too. It's not a hypothetical. It was policy, and Trump even continued it. You could have fought back that way.
Okay, I like you, Jack. So it was a policy under Trump, and Trump did not fix it because there was taxpayer-funded trans surgery under Trump. Okay.
But guys, and even if Kamala Harris did or did not defend it, you guys are defending it. It's the leftists who are saying this is the hill we're going to die on. Well, that's really
no. They're not saying this is the hill that you're going to die on. This is what they are saying. They are saying don't even bring it up, so that nobody targets the LGBTQ. So they feel like this is what they are saying. They feel like when you bring it up, like okay, so let's say the trans issue comes out, don't even talk about it. Like, okay, let's move to something else. Kind of like hide it like that. Okay, so what's going on here? Like, let's go back to the economy. You see what I'm saying? So now, now what you're doing, you're diffusing that thought because you know that thought is not real. There's no transgender really in any sports. There's nothing going on there. So let it flow. It can work, but I don't know. I feel like for some reason the voters are not that educated. And the fact that the left has that idea of transgender women in women's sport, the fact that the Republican can play on it, and if you have no defense and you just don't want to talk about it, it might be a huge issue. You know,
we're saying it didn't cost
like
her
we're
the
being
election.
Dragged
he's saying
onto that hill.
He's saying that
when
cost her the election.
Look, guys, here's how the progression goes. So they go, okay, we hate gay people. Oh, that didn't work. But back in 2004, they go, okay, well, we hate gay marriage. Oh, that did work. Okay. Now, at the time, I go, wait, are we talking about constitutional rights? Are we talking about fundamental human rights? Okay, I know it's not a winning issue for us, but I'm going to fight on that, and I believe in gay marriage, but I could make an effective case for it. I could convince people of it, and we did. We fought and fought and fought, and we convinced people, right? So then they go, nowadays, they come back and they go, okay, well, attacking gay people is not working anymore, so let's attack trans people. It's so transparent what they're doing. And by the way, I would love for a Democratic politician to say that what I'm saying now. Do you see how they're trying to drive hate towards trans people? Okay, so they attack the core of their rights, it doesn't work. Then if you remember in the beginning, Trump said they shouldn't be in the military. And that didn't work. And we're defending because that is core rights, right? Willing to die for our country? Are you kidding me? Of course we defend. They're weirdos that attack people in bathrooms. No, that's mainly straight guys, let's be honest, okay? So we defend and it doesn't work. Then they get to, they should be able to play in the WNBA and Olympics, etc. And I go, well, I think that's up to the WNBA and that's up to the Olympics, and I'm not sure that I agree with that. And let alone the fact that I know that's a super unpopular position, and it is not a core right to play in the WNBA. It just isn't. But every other leftist goes, nope, Cenk, you're a fascist, and you're agreeing with the right wing. We love this issue, and of course they should. We're going to defend this 200%. And then we got smeared. So you guys made a giant mistake.
No.
I think most leftists want to talk about the economy. I think most leftists want to talk about workers' rights and free healthcare and affordable housing. But there are these fringe issues that are brought to the forefront by Democrats who want to say what you're saying in order to distract from those issues because they can't defend those issues. They can take this like little wedge issue and say like, well, we don't agree with trans women in sports. We don't agree with, and if you defend it, then you're being crazy. But not to do an impression of you, Cenk. But there is this lack of conversation about the things that Democrats are not doing, and I genuinely think that even having these conversations to this degree, instead of hand waving them away as being like, you know what, these are fringe issues, we can deal with them as fringe issues and not as the main issue of the campaign.
But
I think that is something that. Go
So,
ahead.
Jules, let me agree with you, but then challenge you. The part I'm agreeing with you on is when Philip Rain says, "Oh, trans undocumented," again, not just trans rights, but trans undocumented immigrants asking for taxpayer-funded surgery, and then the same thing as Medicare for all. No, not the same thing. Medicare for all polls at 72%, and yes, these corporate Democrats are trying to distract you from that. We all agree to that. But the Democrats didn't bring up that issue. The Republicans, the right wing, brought up that issue. So, but when I say, hey, guys, let's get past this issue, this is not a winning issue, and I don't even agree, then all of the leftists online said, no, we love this issue. We're going to fight on this issue.
Have the mic.
What?
Democrats have the mic. Democrats are the ones who respond to these issues. Like DNC Democrats are the ones who leftists don't have a mic. Leftists
No, you're
can
wrong.
only
They have a
make their
giant
voice
mic on.
heard.
No, you won't go about this. Lefties don't have a right. Are you kidding me? What about AOC? What about Asanabi? What about like all those lefty crazy like online? You mean social media doesn't work anymore? I don't believe in that. Lefties has a mic.
Social media, giant. I
On
mean, in
social
that
media,
segment
but-
alone, they didn't say that for no reason, and I know I lived it. They said a couple of times, they're like, I'm afraid to say this because of what's going to happen on Twitter. I'm afraid to say this. Because are you saying that people, leftists, don't attack others on Twitter for the slightest
absolutely.
disagreement?
Oh, absolutely. But the point
That's
is
not
that
what
we're
changes the
talking about
outcome of
being
elections,
online.
though.
Exactly. We're talking about normie voters, people who aren't chronically online like we are, and so. These topics make their way to the mainstream because Democrats will do exactly that. They'll say we're being attacked for defending this issue when you don't have to defend the issue at all. You can. I'm again saying you can hand wave it away and talk about things that really matter.
But Jules, that's not what the leftists did. You're saying the exact opposite of what they did. They didn't wave it away. They said,
I'm saying that's what the people with the mic, the people who normie voters listen to, didn't do that. They started talking about, oh, we're being attacked by the left for having a reasonable position. So why are you talking about it at all? Why don't you talk about it within the fringe context that it exists and where it rounds down to zero? There are decisions to be made. We do have to support trans rights, but doing it through this narrow venue is crazy. And that's how it looks to voters. It looks like the entire Democratic Party represents this fringe issue that mainstream Democrats want to defend against.
Jules, you're now saying
most people aren't online like that.
You're now saying that you agree with the position that I had, which is wave it away. This is not the hill to fight on. And when I said that, the entire leftist ecosystem collapsed in on itself. How dare you? We fight on this issue. Well, how did it turn out for us? And look, Jordan, I stipulated in the beginning, we all agree. She lost the issue because she loves her corporate donors. She's talked about how I have 90 corporate CEOs who agree with me. Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney and agrees with me. And that's what cost her the election. But it was not a small issue that the number one ad that they ran was on this, and the polling indicated that this was the one that worked the best. And there's other things, guys. We said there was real crime. Every leftist screamed, there's no crime. It's in your imagination. Well, and they claim to represent Democratic voters. Then here in California, we had Prop 36, anti-crime bill. In California, not Alabama. In California, it passed with 70% of the vote.
Wow. Now I got to hear what the left say about this. Proposition 36 passed by 76% of the vote. I got to read about this. Hold on. Very complicated world, right? It's a very complicated world. Proposition 36, guys, is a proposition that is like, it's more draconian, it's more hardcore on the criminal. So they want to make everything a felony. They want to make a lot of stuff that happen. Like if you commit shoplifting, it's more than 1,000. And if you keep committing shoplifting, it's going to become a felony. So, and basically, a lot of California voters voted for that. You know what I'm saying? So that tells you something, that it seems like a lot of American voters, people in America, are going more to the right now after this election. That's what we see. So, wow, interesting.
And they don't want to pay for these surgeries, et cetera, et cetera. The polling shows I'm true. The elections show I'm overwhelmingly correct. But I guarantee you the reaction to this debate by every leftist online will be, how dare he?
They're gonna say Cenk become a right winger. They're gonna say that. They're gonna say that he's leaving the left. And I think like it's okay for Jenk and TYT to brand their kind of lefty. I think they did that already. They were able to brand the left, and they are saying that, oh no, we are like more like mainstream left. We're not like hardcore left. Like we're not like what is it like super blue left? Like I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
He's a monster. It's all his fault. And oh my God, we should double down and quadruple down. And we should, there is no crime. He's helping their framing. Well, okay, 70%. The Democratic voters are definitively on my side, both on economic populism like Medicare for all and on these social issues. We're not saying abandon trans people. We're not saying lock up people that didn't do anything wrong or that smoked a joint. We're saying nobody said to take domestic assault and turn it into a misdemeanor. What the hell are you defending that for? Are you nuts? That's an injustice. And Democratic voters don't want it, let alone Republican voters. So you guys can keep emphasizing. I'm not the one emphasizing, I'm the one saying get past it. And every left-wing show online is like, don't get past it, don't get past it. Talk about this for months and months and months until we lose every goddamn election.
I don't think it's like a totally fair characterization of how people are responding to that topic or how they should engage with it. I think what's important is the context with what he was talking about was that she lost because of the extreme left and those three issues that he laid out, which is not true. This guy has worked on 2 campaigns that ran against Trump. He lost both of them. He certainly knows losing, but he does not know how to win. And when you think about what motivates him to say it, it's much easier to scapegoat progressives and the left. And as he threw in later in a jab at Bernie Sanders, Senator Sanders and like maybe progressives in the squad, it's easier for him to scapegoat those policies, those people, that voting bloc, rather than look inward. Because to do that, he would find fault with himself, find fault with the donor class, and ultimately it would shake up and change the paradigm of how people within the party view the party. They're unwilling to do that because they are beholden to corporate interests. On that, we agree. But the thing is, ultimately, at the end of the day, you stand up for these things because it's the right thing to do, not because they're popular. And like you gained ground on marriage equality and gay rights, it might be a similar and long fight, but you shouldn't abandon it or throw them away or throw them under the bus like Harris did simply because it's politically expedient now.
Okay, so you're okay with losing the election because you want to fight for those issues. I mean, you just said it.
You already lost. That's
Okay,
not what
all
I
right.
showed you the data. No one cares. No one cares. It's the last ranking issue.
You're delusional.
The
$40
economy-
million in ads.
The
and you think
economy
no one
was the
cares?
#1 issue for people. No one's going in there and be like, I'm mad about trans people, so I'm going to vote for Trump. No one did that.
You're 100% wrong.
The economy,
Tons of
every
people
poll,
100%
every
right.
exit poll
He's
said it was the
100%
economy.
right.
Okay, at the very end of that ad, which worked spectacularly, you guys are denying reality. Every poll showed it worked spectacularly.
Yet no
Okay.
one,
How do we know
no
it
one
worked
walked out and told a pollster that's why they voted.
Yeah.
Not a single person.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, the American people loved it, guys. You were right. Oh my God, they loved it. They want you to run on it again. That's such a genius idea.
That's why Trump won.
Okay, so how many times do I have to tell you that was not the #1 issue? That was but did it help? Did it help? And besides which, I also don't agree with you guys. I don't think paying for undocumented immigrant surgery is somehow some moral, great, amazing thing that we have to fight for. We have a giant number of issues in America. If they came in and asked for hip replacement surgery, I wouldn't be in favor of it. Why are we dying on a hill? We don't, half of us, not half of us, in terms of Democratic voters, all right, last thing. Can you guys be honest and say most Democratic voters agree with me and not you guys?
Yeah, most Democratic voters agree with me. They want Medicare for all. We just talked about it. We just agree with
right,
it.
Jordan,
That would
we
be an
all agree
extension
to
of it.
that.
That'd be an extension of it. So
That
people,
would be an extension of
if
it.
you're incarcerated, you don't get medical coverage. What do you think Medicare for all is? Does it cover gender affirming care? Because in my world, it does.
Okay, God bless you. You run the next election on that. I want the rest of the country to know that the great majority of Democratic voters do not believe in those issues. They believe in protecting everyone's constitutional rights, but they don't agree with these fringe issues. And here we are making the same exact mistake where you guys are defending something that is indefensible, and whether it Like, you're falling back on this simple thing of like, it's not the number one issue, so it didn't hurt. No, that is not a logical connection. It doesn't have to be the number one issue for it to hurt our chances of winning. Besides which, again, I don't agree. I don't agree that more crime is such a great thing, or that crime doesn't exist, or that taking a whole bunch of felonies that were terrible crimes and turning them into misdemeanors is somehow justice. It's not.
Exactly. So what happened now? What the fuck happened, you faggot?